Welcome back, guys, to Gaming is Not a Crime. This is once again Don Chap for you with Magic the Gathering's new set, Aether Revolt. So this time we're going to be looking at green. I'm just going to go straight into it. You Magic the Gathering fans, here for you, we have our first mythical card, a mythical creature, Aetherwind Basker, which is 7 mana over here, ready at 3 specific green for of any color. Creature Lizard with Trample. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 1 energy for each creature you control. You can pay 1 energy to give him a +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's a pretty good card, simply because you're going to be getting a massive amount of energy. And it's a 7/7 creature, which definitely is something really good. And you're not going to have problems summoning this thing, even without improvise, which is a new mechanic into the set. You can definitely see this being played simply because green is going to have +1 counters and, well, specifically you have that creature that gives you mana. And even the previous set in Kaladesh, for 1 energy, you get a tap for any mana color that you wish from a previous elf at 3 cost mana. But then again, this is something that you definitely want to look out for, guys. If you open it up, cherish it because it's going to be a winner. And despite the 1/+1/+1 until end of turn here, it's already a 7/7 as it is. You don't want to get bigger. What you want to look into is getting something that would be instant speed for trample. Even the sorcery in the previous set, where for 2 mana you get a +4/+4 sorcery with trample, it's something that you're looking for to use on this creature. And over here is my favorite, once and for all. I've been mentioning this guy in my previous videos. I don't know if you noticed. This is Rishkar Pema Renegade, where it's for 3 mana legendary elf druid. Elves are my favorite guys, and I'm loving green all the way this time. Especially seeing elves being played so often and being produced. When this creature enters the battlefield, you immediately put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 creatures. So you get to choose 2 creatures to put +1/+1. For each creature you control with a counter on it, it has add 1 green to your mana pool. Now this creature alone is so powerful. You do want 4 in the deck just in case to get that draw. So you can draw him up quite faster, despite you can only have 1 of him in on the battlefield. However, this is something that I'm definitely using in the future, and possibly even changing up my own commander deck to have this in it as the commander himself, to be honest. Then again, from the green black that I'm using, it might have to turn just to green simply because of commander rules. I'm not going to go into that. It's a 2/2 creature, really good. The For me specifically, the way I played this is my perfect card. Um, Moving on to the next one, we're looking at obviously the legendary creature sorcery for total of 6 mana sorcery. This does not happen to have the improvise mechanic, unlike the other sorceries that we've seen, I believe. So over here we have draw equal cards equal to the greatest power amongst creatures you control. You may cast a card will convert a mana cost 5 or less from the hand without paying its mana cost. Again, all of the sorceries that we've seen in relation to the legendary creature all have that ability that you can pay. You can play their sorcery card and then eventually play a card for free from your hand. So this is pretty good as it is. Unfortunately, seeing that it's so high cost, it is something that you want to kind of rethink before putting in, unless you have a bunch of creatures who give you free mana for tapping. So I guess I'm not going to be seeing improvise much in green. I have a feeling. I haven't seen the set, as you can see on the top over here. Moving on to the next immediately. So Aether Herder. Aether Herder is at 4 mana, which is a creature elf artificial druid. At 4 mana with 1 specific, when this enters the battlefield, you gain 2 energy, so you're seeing energy still being strong here. And whenever this attacks, you may pay 2 energy, and if you do, you create a 1/1 servo. And this is something that we've been seeing throughout the whole set. The whole 1/1 servo thing is throughout all 5 colors, so there's nowhere you can go wrong. You can go 5 color quite easily and build a servo deck around it. This is a 3/3 creature at a common rarity, so it's not a bad card to have, and it's quite decent in my opinion. Over here we have Heroic Intervention. So we have a Johnny there cutting out the net's about to capture one of the citizens, I believe, there. And over here we have at instant speed 2 mana, one specifically green at rarity rare. Permanents you control have gain Hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So basically, it's a pretty good card because your opponent won't be able to touch anything that you have on the battlefield in relation to your permanents, whatever it is, and also they gain indestructible. So he can't touch it whatsoever, and they won't get destroyed even during battle. So it's a pretty good card to be played at any cost. Anywhere the strong oppress the weak, I will be there. Johnny over there saying that. Again, sorry if my voice interpretation isn't as great as a voice actor, but I do try. I do try. Aid from the Cowl. This is a 5 mana enchantment where you have Revolt, and at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you may put it onto the battlefield, otherwise place a card on the bottom of your library. This is a way OP card, and this is going to be really nice to match up with a white card. Same enchantment, if you build an enchantment deck, something you're going to be wanting to do. Because if something kind of leaves the battlefield, um, you're going to want to reveal the top card of your library. God forbid you're mana screwed at that point, but again, I don't think with 5 mana over here, needing to summon this enchantment, you're going to have a problem. Not at all. So basically, you're definitely gonna have that permanent straight onto the battlefield. I think this could have reached a mythic rarity, to be honest, but again, I mean, as a rare card, it stands strong. And over here we have Green Belt Rampager. So for 1 green mana, you're putting down a 3/4 elephant creature with a rare cost. Now this is really, really strong for 1 cost mana. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you pay 2 energy. Now the thing is this: in order to, if you can't, what does that even mean? Hold on, wait a bit. So when this enters the battlefield, pay 2. Okay, so you don't get 2, you have to pay 2. So there's the extra cost. Okay, so that's where it is. So you have to pay 1 mana and 2 energy in order for this guy to stay around. If you can't, you return it back to your hand and you get 1 energy in return. So okay, so basically it kind of works 2 ways. So either you won't be able to pay the energy or you won't pay. No, you have to. Not you may. You have to pay it. If you can't, then you just get 1 energy. So you can put him down twice, in a turn to get the energy. Then on the third time, you spend the energy and it kind of comes in. So it's pretty much okay. However, that would mean that you're spending 3 mana if you come to that point. So it's not a big deal. But 3/4 for 1 and 2 energy. If you're playing an energy deck, especially, you're gonna see this come down quite fast. And then over here we have Green Wheel Liberator for 2 mana costs, one specifically green. We have an Elf Warrior. Once again, elves are reigning in this in the green, quite strong. With Revolt, again, I'm seeing green white being very strong all of a sudden with Revolt as its main mechanic. Whenever this enters the battlefield, it comes into the battlefield with 2/1 counters on it. If you permanent you left the battle you control left the battlefield this turn. So definitely we're seeing some strong play with white there. Over here we have finally the Ridge Scale Tusker, which is for 5 mana. It's a creature beast. When this enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. So apart from it being a 5/5 beast, which is, as it says itself, it's a beast, on the battlefield, you're also pumping up your creatures, no problem. So you're looking at a counter deck, a +1/+1 counter deck, quite easy. And then we have Pema Aether Seer, which is another elf druid, and this is for 4 mana, one specifically green. When this enters the battlefield, you gain uh, amount of energy equal to the greatest powers among creatures you control. So easily, and this is a uncommon, so it's pretty good. So you're gonna get energy quite easily, especially with the +1/+1 counters coming in. For a 3/2 creature, it's a pretty decent card, despite its even 4 mana. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, when it comes to green, you're not gonna look at the mana cost too much because you can afford having such high costs curves. And then you have the pay 3 at any time you want, and target creature blocks this turn if able. So you're going to kind of enforce a creature to block from your opponent's side, so you can make it kind of, well, he has no options but to kill it off if possible in that kind of technique. It depends on your strategy at the end of the day. Looking at the next card over here, we have a Sorcery Monstrous Onslaughter, which is 5 mana as well. It's an uncommon, and whenever this comes in, it deals X damage divided as you choose amongst any number of target creatures, where X is greatest power amongst creatures you control when you cast this spell. And basically, you're looking at obviously a combination of making sure you have buff creatures with enough +1/+1 counters on them, so you deal enough damage onto a target creature. It's pretty much like a bomb spell, so to speak. But again, the 5 mana is kind of costly for a sorcery of this sort. I think that's the only time that I'm actually saying that for green. But then again, we have a lot of cards to go through. Narnam Renegade. So this is also an elf warrior for 1 green with Death Touch over here, and for the rarity of uncommon. And it also has Revolt, so whenever it enters the battlefield, it comes in with a +1/+1 counter if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. Again, there is a constant link between white and green we're seeing here. So it's you're definitely going to look at that combo, especially in your pre-release or in your draft when you're playing this. You're going to be looking for that combo immediately. So it's a 1/2, so it's a pretty strong creature to come down for an uncommon. Molfist Revolutionary. So 3 mana, it's a human warrior, so for 3 mana, which is 2 specific green, you have a 3/3 creature with trample, and whenever it enters the battlefield or dies, for each kind of counter target permanent or player, give that permanent another counter of that kind. So basically, you're going to be adding on that extra +1/+1 counters there. So it's a constant strong field. You can easily go mono green, no problems at all with how things are working, and you might want to kind of splash in that white in there, so you keep the +1/+1 counter concept strong in green. And over here we have an instant, Life Crafter's Gift. So for 4 mana, the instant comes into play with one specifically green from the cost. You put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter. So apart from the fact that you're giving a creature +1/+1, all of a sudden you're boosting all the rest, including the one you just gave a +1/+1 counter to. Again, the cost is a bit too much. I believe it could have reduced it by 1. Again, due to the rarity, I'm solely speaking that way, is simply because it's uncommon. I'm no expert here, but I think I would have been more comfortable playing this into a deck if it had 1 less. Then again, it's pretty good card as it is, so I kind of understand where the balance lies. Lifecraft Awakening. So it's 1 green specifically, and then X for the cost. It's an instant which you can put a X +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it isn't a creature or vehicle, it becomes a 0/0 construct artifact creature. Now, this is the beauty of it, meaning that you don't have to target a servo or any of the sort. It can be a simple artifact that gives you mana, a simple artifact that is doing some other job on its own. It can turn into a creature the minute you put the +1/+1 counters. I love the fact that this one specifically is 1 green and X is any other amount of land tapping, so to speak. This is, as you can see from Connor Wiley over here on the comments, this is sick. I love it a bit. Hidden Herbalists. So over here we have another human. This time it's a druid for 2 mana, 1 specifically green. Again, it's an uncommon in rarity. It has Revolt as well, where basically when it enters the battlefield, if a permanently control left the battlefield, you get 2 mana. So it's pretty good because you can easily bounce it in and out for it. It's a 2/2 creature. It's pretty decent. Again, you need to think your strategy through if you're going to be using the Revolt technique. Um, Again, this is a huge chain between white as well. Perhaps even with blue, you might see that simply because they might not even, despite they might not have revolt, you're definitely looking into returning cards from the battlefield back into your hand. So something of the sort, or else you're risking for a creature to die. So revolt can work in all those aspects. Umbrella growth. So this is for 1 green, and it's an enchantment. You enchant a land specifically, and the land has add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color. You can sacrifice the enchantment to draw a card if you come to the point where you have all the lands you need. So this is kind of like a fixer onto the battlefield itself. If you need to specifically, um, s- you need white, you're running out of white mana or something of the sort, you definitely could use this. And then again, it's not going to be a useless art enchantment onto your land simply because at the end of the day, if it's done its job, you get to sack it, draw a card, and that's pretty good itself. And the fact that it's of rarity common, it's a pretty good thing to have in your deck. Then we have Scourging Bander, which is 2 mana, one specifically green. Creature Cat Monkey. Okay, so not sure how we feel about that when it comes to the cat tribes from a Johnny's perspective. But then again, it's a cool looking dude. It's a 0/0. Now, the thing is this, why is it 0/0? Simply because the minute it enters the battlefield, it comes in with plus two plus 1 counters on it, simply said. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of plus 1 counters from this creature onto another creature. And it's a common. So think about it this way. The minute you have this, it's a 2/2 creature that comes out at a common rarity again. And at any time, you can move those at the beginning of your upkeep onto another creature that you want to buff. So pretty much you're not going to leave a 2/2 creature there. You can definitely move it across accordingly and get rid of this creature. You want to have 4 of this in your deck. You definitely need to play it in your standard format. It would be a beautiful concept to have it if you manage to get these in your draft. So it's a pretty good card overall. And as I said, green so far has been my favorite color. To heart. So I'm definitely loving the whole thing. Prey upon. So over here for 1 mana, you get to play a sorcery. I'm seeing that this sorcery is the cheapest so far, compared to other instants and sorceries that have been in the green set so far. And over here we have target creature you control fights a target creature you do not control. Okay, so this is pretty good simply because you're going to be boosting up your creatures in the green section, and you're going to go ahead and kill off another creature by dealing damage. The only disadvantage to that is simply because that specific creature might lose its toughness until the end of the turn, so you're putting it at risk for further damage in the combat step. Or what you could do is you can use it at the end step and get rid of a creature that your guy doesn't need. So sorry for the phone call there. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the next card. And over here we have natural obsolescence. How do you even say that? I keep getting into these cards where it's very hard to kind of pronounce certain things as I'm going on the go. Try not to keep these videos too long. Anyways, going on to this is an instant at 2 mana, one specifically green. Put target artifact on the bottom of its owner's library. So this is giving a sense of control from your end. If there's an artifact that's annoying you, you're gonna want to put that down into your opponent's bottom of the library. It's like you're not gonna be seeing that for a while, buddy, unless he gets to shuffle his cards in a way that it comes further up on the top. But again, the likelihood of that is very, very thin. Livecraft's Cavalry. Over here we have another elf once again, but unfortunately this is a high cost elf, which does not have the whole tap artifacts mechanic over here, which I believe it's called. Let me just have a second to think. Improvise. There we go. So basically, at 4/4 trample, it has revolt. So whenever it enters battlefield, which it comes in with 2/2, you have a permanent left the battlefield this turn. So we're seeing that these revolts in green, unfortunately, require something to leave. Unlike white, white specifically might have that ability that if something did leave the battlefield at this turn, then this triggers. Unfortunately, you're looking for the trigger for something to leave, then play this. Again, we're not going to be seeing this play to late game. So this is something that you might want to leave aside. So I'm not a big fan of it, unfortunately. One card down for me not to look forward to. Um, High Spire Infusion. This is for 2 mana, one specifically green. It's an instant, and target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, and you also get 2 energy. It's a pity that this thing is not an uncommon and gives you trample. It would have been beautiful. However, for those of you still playing energy decks for your standard, this is something that you will definitely appreciate. Getting a +3/+3 in there can surprise your opponent if he's blocking with something big towards you, something small, and you want to kill it off, or he doesn't block at all and you want to surprise him with that extra advantage onto the damage there. I can't see this really playing with red, to be honest. Usually red and green go hand in hand most of the time. Not seeing that happen too often. Then again, there is the energy factor, which can change things. So over here we have Ether Stream Leopard. Beautiful artwork there by Winona. And over here we have a creature cat, which is 3 mana, 1 specifically green with trample. It's a 2/3 creature. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield, you get 1 energy immediately. Very poor on energy, unfortunately. I think due to the storyline, we do see that energy has been restricted from citizens to be used. So I think it's very poor amount of energy that's being given out here. Now, whenever it attacks, you may pay 1 energy. If you do, it gets a +2/+0 until the end of turn. So it's a pretty okay card to have if you're playing energy. Then again, it's not really my favorite. There are better cards than it. And then we have the Druid of Cowl. This is the creature card that I've been looking forward to. It's a 1/3 for 2 mana, and it's a common. And if you tap it, it gives you 1 green mana to your mana pool. So it's pretty good. Something that you want to have 4 of them in your card, along with the other elf from the previous set. That's you spend 1 energy to give you 1 mana of any color, I believe, unless I'm mistaken that it's specifically green. But you know the concept. You want to have these creatures in your deck if you're going to be playing green, especially since we've been seeing a lot of the mana curve in green getting a bit too um, high into 4s and 5s. Last but not least, I can't believe I've been so quick throughout this video. Silk Weaver Elite. Over here we have 3 mana to summon this 2/2 creature with reach. It's an elf archer. I think it's the only creature with reach that I've seen in the set so far from all 5 colors. It has Revolt as well, which is something that is a theme throughout green and white, as I've been saying. And whenever it enters the battlefield, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, you get to draw a card. So it's an okay card. You might want to have this, especially with a lot of flyers running around um, from the set from the previous set, and also in blue specifically, and some of the artifacts that have that concept of flying. So that's green, guys. Thanks so much for watching once again. This is Dan. This is Don Chap over here. I was about to just pronounce my full name. Well, my name is Daniel. It doesn't matter. You'll find it on my YouTube page, anyways. So YouTube channel. And don't forget, gaming is not a crime, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and go ahead and look up for my Facebook page, which is Gaming Not a Crime dash DONCHAPP, and go ahead and hit that like. It would mean a lot for me, especially knowing that I've got that support out there. I know I'm not exactly a pro at describing certain cards and comparing them to any other sets in relevance. Even sometimes I get to forget certain mechanic names. It's fine. I'm trying to go through these videos as quick as possible. Don't forget, guys, on the 21st of this month, January 2017, the set comes out. But this weekend coming, look forward to your nearby store for the pre-release. I'm Don Chap once again, and thank you so much for watching.